Station presents After Church with Tink McLeod, featuring the coolest of cool people and very special guests. And here's your host, Tink McLeod.
Thank you so much for applauding or not applauding from your living room right now. But mostly thank you to the amazing sound effect of applause. Welcome to After Church. My name is Tink and I am so excited to be your host. This will be a show that happens every Sunday night via YouTube and Facebook Live. I know, roll your eyes, but everyone's going live, so might as well. So what is After Church? After Church is just a late night variety show or talk show for Christians and non-Christians, obviously. I was sitting on my couch one night over in Australia and I was watching Jimmy Fallon and all these clips from like James Corden, Ellen DeGeneres, and I was like, God, this is so fun. I wish that someone did this for Christians, like interviewed just everyday Christians in their normal life. You know, there's so many amazing businesses, so many amazing people in our community or in the kingdom of God that have amazing stories, are doing amazing things, but there's no way to really find out or hear from them. And so this was just a little dream that I had thought up, and I mean, we all have the time in the world now to actually do something, and so this is just my attempt to try and do that, you know, in my living room in this ghetto studio that has like 4 lights and trying to figure it out, but aren't we all? So I thought I'd tell you guys a little bit about me before we started, since some of you might not even know me. My name is Tink. My actual given name is Trisha Loyola McLeod. I'm married. I have a daughter named Charlotte, and we call her Charlie. She's the cutest ever. I was born in Chicago. I was raised in Houston, and then I moved to Nashville, Tennessee when I was 16. And I got married at 21. My husband and I moved to Australia in 2015. We lived there for about 4.5 years doing some ministry stuff. And we moved back home in November of 2019. And here we are, just hanging out in our living room like you guys every day, in our pajamas every day. So I met the Lord when I was 14 at a Black Gospel church. Yep, fans, tambourines, dancing tongues. It was crazy and awesome. And that was the day that I got my first prophetic word as well. And from that day until today, prophetic has continually changed my life. And last year, I got a prophetic word where God said to me, whatever's in your heart is in my heart. And that was really hard for me to hear at the time, but now it all makes sense because it's always been in my heart to start a show like this. Some Christian show where, you know, it's fun and it's relatable and it's normal. It's not super religious. It's just fun. And we get to hear people's stories, not just the celebrity Christians, but like normal everyday Christians that are doing amazing things with their life. And so that's the heart of the show. And I really hope that you enjoy it as much as I enjoy it. And yeah, let's get started.
This is the first verse of the worship song. The words are simple, so sing along. I am terrible, but he is able. It's incredible, hope this song's relatable. Life's got me down, I'm at the end of my rope. So here's an out of context Bible verse about hope. This is the chorus, we're lifting our voices, loud and triumphant. We're singing the chorus. It's repetitive, it's repetitive, it's repetitive. All my problems are gone.
I'm a rich blonde female, singing about how I fail. When things are bad again, I am struggling. I'm a total mess, my life's a train wreck. I'm pure garbage, I need him again. Life's got me down, I'm at the end of my rope. Here's an out of context Bible verse about hope.
This is the chorus, we're lifting our voices, loud and triumphant. Amen. We're singing the chorus. It's repetitive, it's repetitive, it's repetitive. That's right. my problems are gone. Sing it, church. The drums are getting louder. I'm feeling overpowered. The rushing wind and waves, they bow to you. Now I surrender. I feel a holy fire. Fire rounds with desire. I'm about to cry and lift my hands to the sky. Chorus, chorus, chorus. Loud and fire. Chorus, chorus with no instruments. Just the voice. Chorus, just the voices. Come on, y'all. Chorus with no instruments. Little higher. Chorus with the key change. Chorus, 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 chorus. Sloppy, sloppy kisses, singing passionate. I know I'm being vague. This song not about my ex. This song's about Jesus. This song's about Jesus. This song's about Jesus. We forgot to mention Jesus. This is the chorus. We're lifting our voices loud and triumphant. We're singing the chorus. It's repetitive. It's repetitive. So repetitive. All my problems are gone.
All right, well, my first guest is my husband, my best friend, and the love of my life. He's also my baby daddy, and I'm just so excited for you guys to meet him. Please welcome Sam McLeod.
Hi, babe.
Hi, babe. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. It's so good to be here. You know, I didn't really have many options for this evening, so
I don't think any of us did.
I decided to come downstairs, and you know, all this was here.
All this was here, yet you set it all up.
Well, maybe a little bit of it.
Let me publicly thank you for being
stop.
so
That's
supportive
fine.
of.
That's it.
Come
Okay.
on.
I'll let
This
you
would not
publicly
be possible
say-
without him. He has emotionally supported me through all this because I really haven't. I've been putting this off for like years now, and he just keeps being like, "You need to do the show."
It's great to see you finally doing it.
Thanks, babe.
And I'm so proud of you. But let's just, you know.
Proud of me.
So take it away. You know what? What am I doing?
Okay, well, you just moved back, right?
Yeah, you did too. Yeah,
We did.
We moved.
Us, me and you.
Right.
You and I. We just moved back from Australia.
Yes.
When did we move back?
November last year.
Yes, November last year, and then we've been living in another lady's like fully furnished home. That was super helpful because we were living in Australia, in Melbourne, Australia, for 4.5 years.
Yeah.
And yeah, we moved over there. Only had 5 suitcases. 4 suitcases?
4 there, and then 6 back because the little baby, so she got 2.
Exactly.
But yeah, that's why that house was helpful because
We had nothing.
we had only suitcases.
Just clothes. So what were you doing in Australia?
So many things. I guess when we moved over there, we didn't do much at all. But then we got to start this lovely little school with the wonderful Gary and Sarah Morgan. Shout out to you guys.
Those cups are clearly empty.
Right, did that, pretty much the whole time. Actually, yeah, definitely the whole time we're there, besides the starting of it all. And that first year where we just worked at a cafe.
Great cafe.
Great cafe, wonderful. And then he did a bunch of youth pastoring stuff, music stuff, worship stuff, admin stuff, like just kind of like a ton of different church ministry things. Started a young adults thing called Atlas, which was like the monthly gathering of everybody that believed in Jesus but may not have believed everything else that we all believed in, and decided to worship together just because we all think Jesus is dope. So did a bunch of that.
Jesus is dope. So let's say, what are your 3 favorite things about your time in Australia?
3? About my time there. Yeah. I loved all of the ports and like looking out into the ocean. So ocean, Number one. Number two, rest. They rest so well. I mean, you got a holiday for the holiday that you just had to recover.
And a holiday for a horse race.
Yeah, horse racing is a holiday. So yeah, holidays, number two. Number three.
And the fact that they close everything down at like 4.
Yeah, the rest thing. Yeah, it's just
Like the country just does rest really well.
Right.
So good on you, Australia.
That's it. So that's number two, rest. Number three would have to be healthcare. Having Charlie over there, I mean, you did your share.
You watched.
I did. It was tough for me. It was wonderful.
He was great.
Healthcare was great. She did great. Pregnancy is no joke. I have nothing else to say. I retract all my statements. Healthcare in Australia was great.
But those are your 3 favorite things about Australia. Do you have 3 favorite things about like your experience of Australia, your time?
Yeah, I guess like I loved spending my 20s there. I spent like all my 20s there.
Yeah.
And learned a lot of the things that you're supposed to learn when you're 20. And I guess the things that we got to learn because we're married and we had gone through stuff, decided to not get divorced. And,
Woo! We made it.
So that was, a great experience for me was to, I guess, really grow up over there. Number 2 would be, I guess, learning how to lead something, and to be given a blank canvas to create something. That was great. Like to, I guess, ability, realizing my ability. And 3 would be seeing what happens if you stick with God for a little bit longer. Yeah. Just a little bit longer. When you want to, not do things or not be obedient or whatever, sticking with God. I think that was really cool to see what happens when you do.
Yeah. And it was really cool to just see God continually surprise you and us in different areas. Like every time that we wanted to give up, the Lord would just come through. Yeah. And that was cool. And we'll continue to unpack that the more that the show goes on, because the show must go on.
And it's a delight. But so those are my 3 things.
That's awesome. That's awesome, babe. Well, let's go back to who you are. How about you tell me where you're from?
I am from Smyrna, Tennessee, which is a little town outside of Nashville.
What was your childhood like?
It was mostly about rodeo sports. I always had to go to them. But what I loved to do was to pretend I was in Lord of the Rings or make Legos or, stuff like that. I'd even make swords like Lord of the Rings swords.
You were that kid.
Yeah, definitely. So that was what life was like. Yeah, and I was homeschooled, so I'd do my school and then whatever. Your
brain was always you would always think so deeply about things. But that's what I also loved about you when I met you, was that not only you were so smart, but you were so sure of what you would read in the Bible. Talk to me about how you met the Lord. When did you grow up Christian or
I think I was born Christian pretty much.
Born again Christian.
No. Well, yeah. As long as I can remember, I've been a Christian, and I've never wavered from that really. Yeah. So my parents moved to Smyrna from Florida, I think they were from Florida. They moved there, and kind of redid their life. They had my brothers with them, they were 10 years old, and then they got pregnant with me. I know they had just converted to be Christians. And I know that the community they were in really felt like repair for their life. And I know my mom in that wanted to kind of dedicate me to God. And she was kind of really into the Bible story about Hannah and the son Samuel. So she named me Samuel. This will be a priest dedicated. And that's kind of how I was,
And you are a priest.
Born.
Here, yes, reveals the shirt.
The collar.
So I know this, but tell me about when your parents left the church.
Yeah, so they left, and my dad converted to Messianic Judaism at the time, and in that my mom kind of did and kind of didn't. What ended up happening is we kind of just stopped going to church altogether and stopped believing in things that the church would do. Christmas was no for us, birthdays were no for us, but then kind of half, because there was divide there in what we were going to do, what we weren't going to do. But it was always a point of contention, those things.
So was that hard for you to continue to be a Christian? Were you still a Christian, or were you a Messianic Jew, or what were you? Yeah,
I encountered I say it So I encountered the Holy Spirit when I was 10. What really happened is I like experienced a person being near who loved me and cared about me when I was 10 years old, but like was interested in my well-being. And it was almost like, I mean, it's God, but it was almost like he was there saying like, hey, it's me and you forever if you stay with me. And I just couldn't leave that when I was 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've seen that play out in your life.
Right. So I didn't convert to Messianic.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I was just trying to pull out an answer, but
I do believe in the same thing, whatever, Jesus is the Messiah and Judaism is,
Right.
It is,
it was just, So what would you say would be 3 significant moments between you and the Lord?
Well, that one, when I was 10.
And you then started walking to church and like...
Yeah. I mean, that wasn't a significant moment. That was just stuff.
Well, the moment that you decided like...
Yeah, because of that impacting moment, like, I would walk to church and find rides to youth group and just try to be around the community that worshiped that God that I met, essentially. So that was one. Number 2 was like probably a culmination of moments, really, like just kind of all the stuff you and I went through. Whenever.
So people might not know, but we've been together since we were 16.
Yeah.
We met when we were 14. We started dating when we were 16.
Right. Yeah, the significant piece in there is when we broke up right before, we got married, like in 1920, 19 or 20, not in the year 1920.
1920, whoa!
Well, back in those days, when the Great Depression was on. Yeah. That was the significant time for me. And like, I guess really deciding to practice being like a believer, like to really take that verse, faith without works is dead, to like really take that for real, like to be someone who actually did some works along with what I like thought was real.
So what do you mean? Like, what did that look like for you?
Well, when we broke up, I remember this moment, and this was probably a defining moment of God. Like, I mean, my world was wrapped in you. Like, I had a terrible sense of, boundaries with friends and family and girlfriends. And because everything was wrapped in my relationship with my girlfriend at the time.
Me.
When we broke up, it was... everything was gone in an overnight. Like there was nothing left. And I remember feeling 2 options in that moment. Man, I could, drugs, porn, sex, whatever I could do, or God. And what that looked like is what I understood at the time, just reading my Bible every day, like a lot.
Yeah.
And then, so I decided to like really be a Christian. I remember like feeling that like, okay, I guess I'll really do it, you know?
And you like read the whole Bible and...
Yeah, I would read it and I would just sit there and cry, like reading it because I was in pain about my life being destroyed by my own, stupidity or whatever. But reading the Bible, it was, freaking weird. Like I would read it. I wouldn't even know what I was reading really, but somehow it just stuck out to me in some weird way and repaired the damage that I was feeling or pain or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Bible healed me in a lot of ways, just reading it.
Yeah, you are like, I always call Sam the Bible scholar because he just knows everything. I'll be reading one story and I'm like, man, did you know this? And then he has more knowledge behind it. He's like, actually, and according to my calculations.
I mostly know the vibe. I am not a theologian.
Yeah, but you've been reading the Bible from back to front since we were so little. And so it's like the stories in there, like, all of them and you just know them so well.
They are cool. Yeah.
So that was 2.
Yep.
And then what's 3?
I think the third one was probably last year, really. The beginning of 2019. Because at that point we had been in Australia for a long time. We had been, kind of following, I guess, the assignment that God gave us to follow. Because, we're all looking for something to do and in the midst of that, I was getting like access to a lot of stuff that I loved. Like, and my passion is music and worship and singing and playing guitar. You know, that's all I love to do. And there's other stuff that I enjoy, like Lord of the Rings stuff. But like, that's my heart. I love to do that. And I was getting to do a lot of that 5 years in. The first 4 years, not so much. But the last like year and a half, like it was like really starting to look awesome. The landscape was like, this is cool. Like, but I knew that everything that I was tied into in Australia was serving. And if I was to stop serving something, all this other stuff would go away. And so I guess situations were coming up and circumstances were coming up to where I knew that it was time for me to stop serving. And it wasn't that God said stop serving. It was that he stopped saying serve. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't like he said, hey, now it's time to stop. It was more like when I went to listen for him, it was like, I don't hear him asking me to serve anymore. What's going on? And in the midst of that, everything is kind of like, you know, kind of falling apart in my heart. Like, what's going to happen? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And then I felt...
Yeah, because for people like us, or like, you know, millennials, it's like, what is our purpose? What are we doing? What are we supposed to be doing?
Right. Anyway, I knew I wasn't supposed to serve anymore because I knew what it sounded like to say, serve this. But in that same moment, you know, my wife or you, we're starting to hear some other stuff about you and about, you know, what your life could look like. And how
well,
that
it
would
was
change.
similar to that of the Lord not necessarily asking me to serve anymore, but it was like God continually asking, what do you want to do? Like,
Right.
what's in your heart?
And that was new.
That was new, and that was very hard for someone like me to hear, because I'm like, God, I'm your servant. What do you want from me? Like, just tell me what you want. And
100%.
God's like, how can I serve you? Like, what do you want?
Right.
And that was throwing me off, because I was like, babe, I don't know what we're supposed to do, because
Yeah.
I don't know. And Sam would ask me like, well, what do you want? Like, what is in your heart? And
Yeah.
I was like, I kind of want to go home. Like, not because I'm miserable here, but just because I want to be with my family and my friends back home. And, you know, like, not because I wasn't having family or friends there, but it's just, there's a different feeling of being home.
Right.
And so that was in my heart, but I was so afraid of that.
Yeah.
Just like you were probably afraid of letting go of the things that you were involved
That's
in.
what I'm about to say.
Yeah, go
like, so with all of that going on, I immediately felt like I knew what needed to happen, but I didn't want that to happen.
Right.
Because I was very happy to stay in this awesome landscape that I had just emerged into, like, and continue going down that path to see where it led, all the while still serving in a place that I didn't hear God asking me to serve anymore. Mm-hmm. So for me, I felt like God's voice emerging in you about going home really reflected on me a big integrity check. Like, and I felt like God in the midst of that was reminding me of a Bible story, like, you know, because I know them all or whatever, of the rich young ruler, where he's asking Jesus, like, yo, Jesus, I got everything right. I've done everything good. I'm dope. I'm awesome. There's one thing I still want to do, man. How do I get to the kingdom of heaven? I want to go. And Jesus is like, you're right. You have done everything without fault. But there's one thing you lack. Sell everything you have, give it to the poor, and follow me. And it was hard for this guy because he had everything. He'd done everything right. He'd built up his little empire. And I feel like in that story, God highlighted to me, like, this is you right now. Like, you've got everything, you're right. But are you willing to let it all go again and follow me? Which was in you, to go home. And I, at first said, well, actually, at first I said, I mean, yeah. But, like, with tears in my eyes, like, oh, yes, I will. But, God, I don't want to, but I will. So I knew that was a significant moment with me and God. Will you follow me again? Will you lose it all once more?
I mean, I just love your heart. And what I love about that story, the rich young ruler story, and like how that has played out in your life, that really plays out in the song that you have out right now.
Oh, yes.
Because I mean,
Indeed.
technically, I need like an artistic guest, and you are my artistic guest.
Yeah, and I can be here, so that's
you can
pretty
be
good.
here.
Yeah.
I can interview you in person.
Right.
And you have a song out that you wrote when we first moved to Australia that continued to develop as we were living there.
Yes.
Which is pretty much about how you got rid of everything and you continue to get rid of everything.
Yeah.
Because really
He's my everything.
Because he's your everything. Because the Lord is all you need. And you know, I just love the song because even in the lyrics about how you like progress from how the Father spoke to you, how Jesus spoke to you, how, you know, Spirit spoke to you about like who you've become and who your purpose is to be. And so Sam's gonna play us that song in a little bit, and right now we're gonna play a game. So in my hand I have cards that have Bible stories. Oh, for our little Bible scholar here. So there's lots of Bible stories in here. And basically, you're going to get some and I'm going to get some.
Right.
And you can only describe the story in 3 words.
Like, just like straight up.
Just straight up 3 words.
One word a piece. Like no phrase, just like.
No, yeah. 1 word by, like 3 words by themselves. Not like a sentence in 3 words. But
Okay. Not even like a common phrase. Just one word.
No, just
like
3.
red, blue, green.
Yes. And
All right.
I have like.
Are you doing it to me?
I'm
or
doing
me?
it to you, and
Okay.
you're doing it to me.
Okay, cool.
And then-
okay. Oh, I'm doing you.
Yes.
Okay.
And then whoever guesses more wins.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
All right,
I'm down.
let's do it.
Sounds
Ready?
good.
All right. Adam. Tree. Blame.
Eve eating the fruit.
Yeah, that was very close. It's Eve eating the apple in the garden.
Oh, we don't know. It was an apple though.
Really?
Yeah, it doesn't say apple
All the
tree.
cartoons have apples.
Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe it was. March. Massacre.
This is really going to reveal my lack of knowledge of the
Trumpet.
Oh, Walls of Jericho.
Yes.
I was like, Massacre. Uh-oh, which one is it? Okay. Oh my god. Okay. Ooh. Okay. Okay. Father. Incest.
Lot's daughters.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know what else to say. Okay, go.
Harp. Mad. Murder.
Saul trying to kill David.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. This is an easy one. Tongues. Fire.
Pentecost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're doing this in two words.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Ass.
Balaam.
Yes. Yeah. But
Balaam talks.
no, Balaam is the guy. Oh.
Oh. I don't know the donkey's name.
That's it.
What? Oh.
What is the donkey?
He talks.
Yeah.
God talks through the donkey.
The donkey talks.
Yeah, the donkey talks.
Yeah. The ass speaks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Roof. And boobies.
David and Bathsheba. Hair.
Samson. Is it just Samson?
No.
Samson getting his hair cut. No.
Hair. Wait.
Okay.
Hair. Hooker.
That's it?
Love.
Love. Ooh. All I know is that Samson gets his hair cut. Samson.
Hooker.
I don't know what he does with a hooker. I don't know. What is it?
You give up?
Yeah, you give up.
Samson and Delilah. She was a hooker.
Oh my goodness.
I think she was a hooker.
Okay, I think I know this one. I think.
Okay,
I think. Period, like menstrual. Bench.
bench. A menstrual bench. A menstrual bench lady. I don't know. This is like an obscure one. Menstrual bench.
I can't give you anything else.
Bench.
Maybe I'm getting the story wrong.
I don't know. The only thing I'm thinking of doesn't have anything to do with a bench.
Okay. Menstrual though?
I mean, yeah. That's weird. I mean, is it like when Rachel's hiding the idol?
Yes.
Like, sitting on it?
Yes. Wasn't
So
she sitting
gross.
on a bench? It's Rachel stealing
No.
father's idol.
Yeah, she's sitting on the idol to hide it
Yeah.
and saying she can't get up.
She was sitting on a bench though, I was right.
No, she was sitting on the idol.
Okay, my bad.
Ugh.
Alright, babe, well, congratulations. You won.
Yes.
My Bible scholar. Thank
knew
you
I
so
would.
much for being my first guest.
Well, thanks for having me again. It's
Wouldn't
been
be
great.
possible without you. Well, you'll be hearing from Sam in a little bit, and we will be back.
Hey guys, I'm Sheila, and today I'm going to give you a glimpse into my daily devotional life. So check it out. Okay, so the way I like to start my devotional time is with something I like to call Bible roulette. And it's where I just flip open the pages, point to something, read what it says, be encouraged. So let's get started. All right, Satan rose up against Israel. That's fine. We're gonna just try again real quick, see what comes up. If anyone eats blood, that person. Okay, you know what? Sometimes the Old Testament's weird, so you want to kind of shoot for the New Testament when you do this. Okay, and you know what? Sometimes that doesn't work, and that's okay. I'm going to do a little trick that my mom taught me. So, she says, close your Bible, open it up to the middle, you're going to land in the Psalms, and you're going to be encouraged. All right, so here we go. Psalm 13. How long, O Lord, will you forget me forever? Okay, you know what? What you got to do sometimes, you got to ask the Holy Spirit to lead you to a verse. Holy Spirit. Yeah, I feel like he's saying Proverbs 3:5. I don't know what that one is, but it's probably encouraging. Let's see. Because he'll lead you. He'll lead you where you need to go. Proverbs 3:5. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. That's good. Yeah, so let's just take some time to really sit in that. Oh, shoot. You know what? I have some sourdough bread in the oven that I forgot was cooking, but if you guys could just like and subscribe, I'll see you next time, okay?
Lord, 'cause I trust in you until the end of days. You are the one I need, my everything. You are the one I need, my everything. Here is my heart, my king. Take every part of me. You are the one I need, my everything. You as a man taught me to wait. You as a friend challenge my days. You as a lover made me feel known. You as my father welcome me home. Now I will never be enslaved to sin, 'cause you and your power raise me up again. You are the one I need, my everything. You are the one I need, my everything. Here is my heart, my king. Take every part of me. You are the one I need, my everything. Yeah, you're my everything. Yeah, you are. You're my everything. I tried to strive, hide my pride, but there you are. I tried to strive, hide my pride, but there you are. I tried to strive, hide my pride, but there you are. There you are, yeah, yeah. I try to strive, hide my pride, but there you are. There you are, Lord, yeah. I try to strive, hide my pride, but there you are. There you are. There you You are the one I need, my everything. You are the one I need, my everything. Here is my heart, my king. Take every part of me. You are the one I need, my everything. Thanks.
Well, everyone, I'm ready for bed, and I know that you are too. So thank you so much for watching the first episode of After Church. That's a wrap. And we have an amazing cast and crew, obviously. Can we thank Sam McLeod for joining us? Woo!
Thank you.
He's amazing. And you're not in pajamas yet, but
Just
I mean,
PJs.
he doesn't really have PJs. But anyways, I hope to see you next week. Don't forget to subscribe and like. Yep, I'm doing the YouTube thing. But really, if you want to watch, then subscribe and like and follow. Do all the things social media needs. And we'll see you next week. May the odds be ever in your favor. Can I say that? Anyways, God bless you.
the world is actually watching how we navigate this moment. I would say even a greater dimension that our kids are watching how we navigate this moment. I'll remember not being able to get toilet paper and paper towels and ground beef. But I think my kids will remember, wow, spring break got so extended. Dad was home. He cooked these amazing meals. We had fun. We played games. We watched Netflix, went out into the yard. We walked the creek. We did all of those things. And they may look back when they go to college and go, pandemic, I don't know what you're talking about. That was one of the greatest moments of my life. And that's how I want to live this season. I want them to get in the fear and anxiety of that. Me and God got this. We'll cover you, protect you, keep you safe in it.